Welcome on board, chosen one. Step in, take a breath, and look around like you already own the place. Because today, we're not pretending anymore. Today, we say the things everyone else was too scared to speak out loud. And we start with this. The people who thought your absence would mean nothing are now living inside the mess they created. The same people who acted like losing you was no big deal are now choking on the very silence they begged for. Funny how life works when the universe gets tired of watching lies. You remember what they said, right? You're too much. You're replaceable. You'll miss me before I miss you. Those words aged like spoiled milk. Look who's struggling now. Look who's folding. Look who's suddenly realizing you were the last stable piece of their collapsing little world. They thought you would crawl back. They thought you'd break. They thought you needed them. But the universe was listening the whole time, and now it's busy showing them who you really were. Before we go deeper, hit that like button and subscribe to pay this message back. This is how you tell the universe, yeah, I'm ready. Turn the volume up. Now watch how the atmosphere shifts. Every chosen one feels this moment when everything around them gets quiet. That quiet isn't emptiness. It's the sound of truth landing. It's the pressure right before the glass breaks, and every enemy knows what comes after that. That's why they start acting weird. That's why they avoid your name. That's why they stare at your old pictures in the dark when no one is watching. They can't say it out loud, but they feel it. Your absence didn't leave a space. It left a crater. The silence after you left wasn't peaceful. It was heavy. It was the kind of silence that exposes people. When you were around, they hid behind your energy. They lived off the strength you didn't even realize you were giving. But the moment you stepped out, everything around them began to fall apart. It wasn't magic. It wasn't punishment. It was simple cause and effect. You were the stabilizer, and they were the ones pretending to be the storm when they were barely a spark. People don't realize the truth until the universe shoves it into their face. And the truth is this: your absence is a curse to those who mistreated you. Not because you wished it, not because you planned it, but because the universe saw you giving, helping, lifting, supporting, loving, guiding, and it saw them taking, draining, mocking, lying, and disrespecting. When you left, balance returned. And balance can be cruel to those who abused your presence. Ever notice how they start losing things after you walk away? They lose money, lose friends, lose sleep, lose peace. Everything begins slipping through their fingers and they can't explain why. They call it bad luck, but you and I know better. The universe is just removing everything they gained through your energy. It wasn't theirs to keep. You think they're happy where they are? No, not even close. They're haunted. Every night they lie on their bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying moments they thought were small, but were actually everything. The jokes you shared, the advice you gave, the times you saved them without them even noticing. They scroll through their messages and stop at your name, but their pride locks their fingers. The regret suffocates them harder than any heartbreak they put you through. Let's talk facts, since the enemy hates facts. Psychological studies show that losing someone who brought stability and meaning creates emotional withdrawal, almost like a detox. The mind starts craving that person the way the body craves oxygen. That's why they panic. That's why they can't focus. That's why their chest tightens when they think of you. They're not just missing you, they're paying for what they did to you. And here's where it gets personal. Remember the times you stayed awake, comforting them even though you were the one hurting. Remember the help you gave that no one else knew about. Remember the choices you made that protected them even when they didn't deserve it. They remember now. They remember it all. And the universe is turning those memories into mirrors so they see what they lost. When you walked away, the energy shifted. The blessings that were stuck suddenly started moving. The clarity that was blocked suddenly came back. the peace you forgot existed returned like a gift. And you know why? Because the creator of this world designed balance that even humans can't break. You are not meant to lift everyone. You are not meant to save everyone. And some people only teach you how powerful you are when you finally stop carrying them. Meanwhile, they are drowning. Regret is a heavy chain, and they're wearing every link. Your silence screams louder than any argument. Your distance hurts more than any revenge. Your absence is their curse, because losing someone like you is the kind of pain you don't come back from. And that's the part that finally brings tears to the chosen ones. The universe didn't forget you. It didn't ignore you. It didn't leave you unseen. It waited. And now it is proving you right in ways louder than you ever imagined. They will never recover from the day you walked away. You, chosen one, were the blessing they threw away. And now the universe is making sure they feel every second of it. Before we move forward, lean in for a second. You didn't land on this message by accident. If you're here, it means the universe dragged you to the place where truth finally speaks without fear. And if you've felt every hit of what I just said, then you already know this story isn't random. It's your story. So do something that keeps this energy alive. Drop a comment with the number 777 to tell the universe you're ready to let your absence keep cursing every enemy who underestimated you. That number isn't magic. It's a signal. It tells me you're awake now. It tells the universe you're stepping into the version of you they can never touch again. And trust me, if you are truly the chosen one, you will feel a pull to stay until the very last word, because everything coming next will expose why your absence became their downfall and your rebirth. This is where the transformation begins, where the real story unfolds. So sit tight, lock in, and don't move. Let's step into the next part and break this open piece by piece. Number 1, they laughed at your value. Now they're gagging on the truth. Funny how the ones who called you replaceable are now praying for a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. They laughed at you like your worth was some cheap joke, like your presence was just background noise they could mute whenever they felt superior. They ran their mouths with the confidence of someone who thought they'd never face consequences. But life has a habit of spinning the block, and now every word they spit toward you tastes like poison in their own throat. They mocked your value because deep down they feared it. They sensed a strength in you that scared them, so they tried to shred it before it exposed them. But truth is petty, and the universe is even pettier, and now the same mouths that bragged are trembling. Let's break this down, chosen one, because your mind might be whispering, why do they regret it now? Simple. They finally realized you weren't standing beside them for validation. You were standing beside them because you saw goodness in people who didn't deserve the lens of your compassion. And when you stepped away, you didn't leave a gap. You left a crater. They thought losing you would be like misplacing a phone charger, but it turned out to be like losing the last piece, keeping their whole structure from collapsing. Your absence didn't inconvenience them. It exposed them. Every insult they threw at you was a weapon that ricocheted. Every "you'll never find better" became a prophecy they now choke on. They're sitting in rooms that feel colder. They laugh at jokes that don't land. They scroll through conversations that feel empty, because every person they meet now is either shallow, fake, or lacking the depth they only experienced with you. And the irony is almost comedic. They called you too much, but now every replacement feels like not enough. Think about the way they treated you, like some spare part, disposable, replaceable, forgettable. They thought you were an old coin, dull and worthless. But now the gold they chased turned into aluminum foil, thin, weak, easy to tear. They went searching for better and stepped straight into a wasteland. Every smile they see is dim. Every new connection fizzles. Every upgrade downgraded their whole spirit. And that's not karma being poetic. It's the universe teaching them what real value feels like once it's gone. Let's answer another quiet question your mind might ask. Why do they miss me now when they didn't appreciate me before? Because appreciation requires awareness, and awareness usually comes after loss. When they had you, your presence masked the emptiness in their life. You were the warmth in their cold world, the spark in their boring routines, the anchor they never acknowledged. They didn't realize they were borrowing your energy to survive, and the day you walked away was the day the generator shut off. Now they sit in darkness, realizing the light they mocked came from you. They were arrogant. They believed you'd stay forever. They believed your fire would burn for them, no matter how many times they disrespected you. They thought your kindness was a weakness. They thought your loyalty was a leash. But your disappearance taught them the real definition of strength. The chosen ones don't explode. They don't scream. They don't beg. They walk away in silence, and that silence cracks even the thickest ego. Your silence is their punishment. It rings in their ears louder than any argument ever could. It follows them everywhere, in the car, in bed, in the shower, at work. It's like a ghost that doesn't leave. And every time they try to distract themselves, your absence kicks the door back open. They feel it in the empty seats, the quiet mornings, the dull nights. They feel it in the way no one listens to them the way you did. They feel it in the way no one understands them the way you did. They feel it in the way no one cares like you did. You're not screaming anymore. You're not chasing. You're not fixing what you didn't break. You're rising. The universe is pushing you up while they sink into the swamp they built. Every day you heal, they decay. Every step you take forward pulls another thread from their sanity. You're growing into a version of yourself that terrifies them because it proves one thing they never wanted to admit. You were never the problem. You were the gift. Your absence isn't just a wound in their life. It's a curse stitched into their everyday existence. It's the bitter taste in their joy. It's the sharp sting in every memory. You are branded into their soul, chosen one. They don't get to run from what they lost. They don't get to pretend you were forgettable. Their regret is permanent ink, and they're forced to read it every morning when they face the mirror. You rise higher while they claw at the air. You glow brighter while they dim. You walk in peace while they fight their own shadow. They mocked your worth, but now your worth is the weight crushing their chest. They wanted you gone. Now your absence is the ghost that never leaves their side. They thought they broke you, but the truth hits harder. You broke the illusion that they were ever good enough for you, and that realization, that's the curse they'll carry for the rest of their life. Number 2. The moment you cut them off, their whole world flatlined. They weren't losing a person when they lost you. They were losing the system that kept them alive. You thought you were overreacting, but they were overdosing on your energy. Parasites don't apologize. They panic when the host finally wakes up. What they called love was just hunger with pretty words. The second you pulled your energy back, their entire reality cracked like cheap glass. They didn't just lose you. They lost the source that kept their emotional lungs breathing. They acted strong, smug, untouchable, but the truth hits harder once the lights go out. You were their battery, their generator, the entire power grid keeping their life together. They mocked the same energy they were secretly living off. They laughed at the same hand that fed them. They belittled the same heart that kept them alive. And now they're starving, twitching, clawing at shadows, wondering why everything suddenly feels heavy, grey, and empty. They never matched your effort, your love, or your loyalty. They weren't partners. They were parasites wearing human skin. They drained your peace like it was their water supply. They stole your time like thieves in the dark. They fed on your emotional stability like it was a free buffet. And what did you get in return? Silence. emptiness, coldness, fake affection wrapped in manipulation. You gave them warmth, they gave you frostbite. And now you're probably asking yourself, why are they falling apart now? Why didn't they suffer while I was still around? Because parasites only panic when the host cuts the cord. When you were present, they were calm, fed and stable. They had your kindness to soothe them, your mind to guide them, your heart to hold them. But once you stopped pouring into them, they went into withdrawal. Not heartbreak, withdrawal. Two very different things. Heartbreak is emotional. Withdrawal is biological. Heartbreak fades. Withdrawal claws at you. Heartbreak hurts. Withdrawal destroys. They're addicted to who you are. They were hooked on your light. They were using your energy like a drug they assumed would never run out. Imagine this. A person who's been drinking from a fountain for years suddenly faces a dry basin. No warning, no explanation, just silence. Imagine the panic, the desperation, the confusion. That's them right now. They didn't love you. They needed your energy to survive, and need is far more dangerous than love. Here's another image for you. Imagine a leech that has clung to warm skin for too long. It's bloated, lazy, dependent. Suddenly, the host stands up and walks away. The leech drops to the ground, writhing, blind, helpless, unable to understand why the world feels cold. That's exactly what happened when you cut them off. They weren't ready for the famine your departure created. They weren't ready to face a life without your emotional electricity running through their system. They weren't ready to survive without you because they never learned how. And here's a question your mind might whisper. If they needed me so much, why did they treat me so badly? Simple. Parasites don't value the host. They assume the host will always be there. They took you for granted because they thought your loyalty was endless. They thought your love was a leash. They thought your patience was weakness. They thought your forgiveness was stupidity. They believed they could drain you forever without ever having to refill what they emptied. But the universe isn't stupid, and neither are you, not anymore. Let's dig even deeper. Imagine a house with 2 stories. You were the foundation, the beams, the structure. They were the noisy upstairs tenants complaining about every creak without realizing the entire building stood because of you. Then one day, the foundation cracked itself free and walked away. The house didn't just lean, it collapsed. That collapse is what they're living through right now. Their mental walls are caving in, their emotional ceilings are falling, their identity is shaking, trembling, failing, because you were the stability they pretended not to need. Now you're watching them crumble from a distance, and a part of you might wonder, is it really hitting them that hard? Oh, chosen one, harder than you think. They're waking up to cold mornings and colder nights. Their sleep is shallow. Their appetite is gone. Their mood swings are violent. They scroll, trying to chase distractions that never land. Every song reminds them of you. Every memory punches them in the ribs. Every empty inbox reminds them they no longer have access to your presence. They tell their friends they're fine, but those friends aren't stupid. They see the cracks. They see the shaking hands. They see the regrets building behind their forced smile. Withdrawal isn't subtle. Withdrawal is brutal. Withdrawal doesn't whisper. It screams. And the cruelest part? You didn't have to do anything. Your silence is the punishment. Your distance is the lesson. Your absence is the curse. You didn't yell. You didn't fight. You didn't beg. You simply stopped giving. And the moment you stopped giving, the universe ripped away every stolen benefit they got from being attached to you. Their peace, gone. Their confidence, gone. Their stability, gone. Every blessing they enjoyed while standing next to you is evaporating, because blessings don't belong to parasites. They belong to the host. Let's answer the last question in your heart. Why does it feel like they're in more pain than I ever was? Because you had love, they had need. You had a heart, they had hunger. You cared, they consumed. When someone loses love, they grieve. When someone loses their supply, they collapse. You were the source. You were the lifeline. You were the reason they survived as long as they did. And now, chosen one, look at where you stand. You're healing, you're rising, you're remembering your power, you're rebuilding your identity piece by piece. You're breathing freely for the first time in years. Meanwhile, they're suffocating under the weight of everything you shielded them from. They have to face their own demons now, and their demons are hungry. You didn't just walk away, you liberated yourself. And your liberation cursed them, because parasites don't survive without a host. And you, chosen one, finally remembered that you were never the parasite. You were the power source. You were the backbone. You were the oxygen. You cutting them off wasn't cruelty, it was destiny. And now they're learning the lesson they never thought they'd face. You weren't living off them, they were living off you. And without you, their whole world flatlines. Number 3. They chased better and fell face first into nothing. They didn't upgrade. They escaped comfort and ran straight into consequences. Glitter blinds fools, diamonds blind enemies. They swore the grass was greener somewhere else, bragging like they had leveled up, like leaving you was some masterpiece move. Meanwhile, the universe just watched, smirking, knowing exactly what was waiting for them on the other side: dirt, dust, and disappointment. They walked out of your garden where everything grew because of your presence, your effort, your consistency. And what did they run into? A wasteland. A whole desert pretending to be paradise. Let's answer what you're thinking. Was I not enough? No. You were too much, too solid, too real, too steady. They weren't built to handle someone at your level, so they chased the illusion of easy. They ran after sparkles because their mind craves shortcuts. But illusion is temporary, and when the shine fades, all that's left is the cheap material underneath. That's where they are now, confused, embarrassed, and knee-deep in the mess they chose. Imagine someone tossing away a diamond because a piece of glitter caught their eye. Glitter sparkles loud, but it has no weight, no value, no soul. The moment the lights turn off, the glitter disappears. Meanwhile, the diamond still exists, still shines, still holds value no one can deny. That diamond was you, and their downgrade is permanent proof. Another picture for you. Imagine someone leaving a warm, stable home for a tent made of paper because the tent looked fun. Now the rain hits, the wind hits, reality hits, and the tent collapses. That collapse they're living through right now, they caused that. They thought they'd find someone better. They found someone available. They thought they'd feel free. They feel empty. They thought they'd win. They lost everything that mattered. And the coldest truth? The universe locked that door behind them the moment they walked out. Not to punish them, but to protect you. Because someone who chooses dirt over diamonds never deserved to stay. Number 4. They used you as a shield. Now they're getting hit by everything they threw. They weren't brave. They were protected by your energy and didn't even know it. Karma didn't miss. You were just standing in the way. They mocked you like life would never clap back. They ran their mouth with the confidence of someone who thought they were untouchable. But the only reason they survived their own chaos was because you were standing in front of it, taking hits that were meant for them. You were their buffer, their shield, their protection against consequences they created. They confused your presence for luck and your loyalty for immunity. Let's clear the question in your mind. Was I really protecting them without realizing it? Yes. Your energy kept their life balanced. Your heart softened their karma. Your kindness absorbed storms meant to teach them lessons. You were the wall that stopped the flood from drowning them. And the moment you stepped away, every wave they dodged came crashing down at once. Look at what's hitting them now. Sleepless nights that feel like torture, money slipping away like sand, people they trusted exposing them, friends turning silent, lovers turning cold. These aren't coincidences. These are unpaid debts. Karma has a perfect memory, chosen one. It never forgets who caused the damage. It only waits for the shield to move. Imagine this. Someone standing behind a bulletproof door talking trash, convinced they're invincible. Then the door steps to the side. The bullets were always coming. You just weren't going to take them forever. Or picture this. A child throwing stones at the ocean, laughing, thinking nothing will ever come back. Then one day the tide rises and every stone returns at once. That's their life right now. Every wrong they did to you is returning home. And the most brutal truth? You didn't curse them. You didn't wish them harm. You simply stopped protecting them from the consequences they earned. Now the universe is doing what it always intended to do. Show them exactly who you were and exactly what they lost the moment you walked away. Number 5. The universe took you away, and that was their last mercy. Some people don't lose you. The universe removes you before they destroy themselves even further. You weren't a lesson. They were the student who refused to learn. They don't realize it yet, but you weren't just a chapter in their life. You were the turning point they were supposed to grow from. You were the lifeline thrown into their chaos, the final warning disguised as a human being. You were the sign, the chance, the wake-up call. And instead of rising with you, they mocked you, ignored you, and acted like your presence meant nothing. So the universe did what it always does when someone rejects their last blessing. It pulled you out and slammed the door behind you. And maybe you're wondering, was I really their last chance? Absolutely. You were the rope thrown to someone already drowning. You were the only person who still believed they could change. You were the mirror that showed them who they truly were, not who they pretended to be. But mirrors make insecure people angry. They saw the truth in your eyes and chose denial instead of growth. They laughed at the rope. Now the waves are dragging them under, and there is no backup lifeline coming. You were it. Imagine this. Someone stuck in a burning building, and the universe opens the door through you. Instead of running, they stand there making jokes about the exit. Then the universe shuts the door, not to punish them, but to protect you from their self-destruction. Or picture a teacher giving a failing student one last chance, sliding the final exam across the desk. The student tears it up. After that, the only teacher left is consequences. That's where they are now. You were their mercy. You were their moment to evolve. They failed the test, and now their only mentor is pain. The one teacher that never accepts excuses and never lets a lesson be forgotten. Number 6. They tried to extinguish your light. Now they're blinded by your rise. The fire they tried to put out became the blaze that exposes their whole lie. People don't hate your light. They hate how small it makes their shadows look. They spent so much time trying to dim you, talking down on your dreams, rolling their eyes at your ambition, whispering your name with jealousy disguised as jokes. They wanted you insecure, quiet, unsure, tame. They thought if they crushed your confidence, they could control your shine. But every insult they threw became gasoline. Every doubt they planted became fuel. Every attempt to smother you only pressed the ignite button harder. Maybe the question in your mind is, why did they try so hard to make me feel small? Because your fire exposed their lack of spark. Your growth highlighted their stagnation. Your potential made their excuses look stupid. So instead of leveling up, they tried to drag you down. That's what insecure people do. They try to cover your sun instead of learning how to shine themselves. Imagine this: someone standing in front of a rising sun with their tiny hands out, convinced they can block the light. That was them. Or picture a person throwing sand at a flame, hoping it'll go out, only to watch it flare up hotter. That was every attempt they made to dim you. And now, your glow is unstoppable. You're not a candle, they can't blow you out. You're not a spark, they can't snuff you. You're a wildfire, untouchable, expanding, devouring every limitation they tried to build around you. The best part? They have to watch it all from the shadows. They don't get front row seats anymore. They don't get access to the warmth they once took for granted. Your light is beyond their reach now, and your rise is the revenge they never saw coming. They tried to dim your fire, but all they did was help you burn brighter and expose exactly who the real weak one was. Number 7. When you walked away, their whole world turned colorless. Losing you wasn't losing a person. It was losing the only spark that made their empty life feel alive. They traded a sunrise for a flickering streetlight, and now they can't stand the dark. The moment you stepped out of their life, everything dimmed. They didn't notice it at first. People like them never notice the light. They only notice the darkness after it's too late. But slowly, day by day, the color drained out. The excitement faded. The joy thinned. The world they built on illusions fell back into the grayscale reality they were trying to escape. You were the vibrancy in their dull existence. You were the warmth in their cold mornings, the spark in their numb routines, the meaning behind experiences they pretended to enjoy. Maybe the question lingering in your mind is, did I really have that much impact? Yes, more than you knew. Your presence painted their world in colors they never earned. They stole your enthusiasm, copied your passion, fed on your optimism. When you left, they didn't just lose your body. They lost the emotional palette that kept their life from looking like a dead screen. Imagine this: someone watching fireworks for years, thinking the sky always looks that bright. Then suddenly, silence, no color, no sound, just darkness. Or picture someone listening to music they never paid for, and one day the speaker shuts off. That silence feels violent. That's what your absence did. They try to fill the void: parties, hookups, fake friendships, loud environments. But every distraction fades faster than they expected. Every smile feels forced. Every thrill runs out in minutes. Every night ends with the same sinking feeling. Nothing ignites them the way you did. Nothing brings color. Nothing feels real. They thought they were walking away from a person, but they walked away from the only life they ever had. Now everything they touch feels flat. Everything they chase feels hollow. Every day feels the same shade of gray. Because without you, chosen one, their world isn't damaged, it's completely drained. Number 8. Your exit ripped their mask off, and now the whole world sees the monster. Your absence didn't expose you, it exposed them. Some people don't get unmasked. You walking away forces the world to finally look. They weren't charming, they were feeding. When you walked away, something brutal happened. Brutal for them, not you. Their mask didn't slip, it fell, hard, cracked, shattered. Because the charm they bragged about? It was never theirs. It was borrowed from your light. They played lovable, kind, and stable only because they were standing next to someone who embodied all of that without trying. Once you were gone, their true energy slipped out like a foul odor, and the world smelled it instantly. Friends started noticing the cracks. Strangers felt the off vibe. People who once believed their lies now tilt their head and say, something feels off with them. You didn't have to say a word. Your absence said everything. They're walking around like vampires caught in daylight. every truth they hid now burning them alive. And you might wonder, did people really only see the good in them because of me? Yes. Your presence softened them. Your empathy made them seem deeper. Your stability made them look grounded. Without you, their emptiness is obvious. Their fake kindness melts. Their false confidence shakes. Their manipulation becomes transparent. Light always exposes shadows, and when the light walked out, the shadows swallowed them whole. Imagine this, a person wearing a flawless mask at a party, glowing because they're standing under a spotlight. Then the spotlight shuts off. Suddenly their costume looks cheap. Their features look warped. Everyone squints, realizing they were admiring an illusion. That spotlight was you. Or picture someone propping themselves up with a crutch they refuse to acknowledge. Then you take the crutch back. They collapse instantly. That collapse is not the fall of a victim. It's the fall of someone who was never stable to begin with. Now look at where you stand. You didn't lose a soulmate. You didn't lose a friend. You didn't lose a partner. You lost a parasite, a power drain, a performance, a mask with legs. But them, they lost everything that made them look human. Your absence didn't curse you. It cursed them with the truth. And now every room they walk into quietly exposes who they really were all along. Number 9. They weren't a part of your story. They were the roadblock you had to remove. Your life didn't rise after they left by coincidence. It rose because their energy stopped dragging it down. Some people aren't enemies. They're blockages. Here's the truth they never want you to realize. The biggest curse in your life wasn't the pain they caused. It was the blessings they blocked. Life felt slow, stuck, heavy, frustrating, almost like every time you tried to move forward, something invisible yanked you back. That something was them. Their chaos was clogging your flow. Their bitterness contaminated your peace. Their insecurity pressed against your growth like a lid trapping your potential inside. You weren't broken. You were buried under someone who didn't deserve to stand next to you. Maybe you've wondered, why did everything start improving the moment they were gone? Because the universe couldn't deliver blessings to a heart being drained by the wrong person. Every good thing waiting for you was paused, stuck in a holding pattern until you finally cut off the energy thief blocking the runway. And once they were gone, everything shifted instantly. Doors opened like they were waiting for your signal. Opportunities lined up. Peace finally breathed again. Clarity snapped back into your mind like it never left. Imagine this, a garden covered in weeds, choking every flower before it can bloom. You spent years wondering why nothing grew, why everything felt dry and lifeless. Then one day, you pull out the weeds, and suddenly the garden explodes with color. That wasn't magic. That was removal, or picture pipes clogged with debris. Water doesn't flow, no matter how much pressure you apply. Remove the blockage, and suddenly everything rushes through. That's your life now. The weeds are gone. The flow is open. Your blessings aren't delayed. They're unleashed. They weren't your soulmate. They weren't your destiny. They were the obstacle. And the moment you removed them, your entire world started thriving again. Number 10. They threw away a winner. Now they're chained to your victory screen. Their punishment isn't losing you. Their punishment is having to watch you become everything they swore you'd never be. They tried to escape your glow, but success travels farther than their lies ever could. Here's the part that burns them the most. They don't get to forget you. They don't get to move on in peace. They don't get to rewrite history. The universe didn't just remove you from their life. It sat them in the front row, strapped them to the seat, and forced their eyes open like a psychological experiment. You winning is the movie they can't walk out of. Every step you take forward slices their ego open. Every accomplishment is another bruise. Every blessing you receive hits them harder than any heartbreak you ever felt. They scroll through your success like it's poison, blocking you one day, unblocking you the next, desperate to check but terrified to look. And yet, they always look, because watching you rise is their new addiction, one that hurts instead of heals. Maybe the thought crosses your mind. Do they really care that much? Oh, chosen one, care isn't even the word. They're obsessed. Your glow exposes everything they never became. Your growth highlights every stagnation in their life. Your victories scream truths their pride refuses to admit. They lost the jackpot. They let the treasure slip through their fingers. They bet against someone who was born to win. Imagine this, someone tossing away a rare winning lottery ticket because they assumed another would show up. Then later, they see your face on every billboard as the person holding the winning numbers. That twist in their stomach, that's their reality. Or picture someone deleting your number thinking they did better, only to watch your life become a highlight reel that outshines every decision they made. Your success isn't accidental. It's the universe dragging high-definition proof across their face. Proof that you were never the problem. Proof that you were always the blessing. Proof that your glow didn't need them. It needed freedom from them. And the cruelest part? They can't escape it. Your rise is everywhere. Your energy travels. Your influence spreads. They can delete photos, ignore memories, hide behind fake smiles, but they can't run from the sinking truth. You're winning without them. You're rising above them. You're becoming someone they will never get close to again. And every win you claim from this point forward, it's another reminder that losing you wasn't just a mistake. It was the downfall they'll relive for the rest of their life. Number 11. The pain they ran from became the power that set you free. They didn't avoid healing, they avoided accountability. The shadows they hid from became the cage that traps them. The shadows you faced became the wings that carry you. Some people stay broken because healing requires honesty, and honesty terrifies them. They spent their life running from themselves. Every insecurity, every trauma, every flaw, they stuffed it into a dark corner and pretended it didn't exist. They distracted themselves with noise, drama, fake friendships, attention, ego. They avoided the mirror like it was poison. They feared introspection more than they feared losing you, and that fear became the prison they're locked in today. Meanwhile, you did the opposite. You faced everything they hid from. You walked into the darkness they refused to enter. You confronted your wounds, even when it hurt so bad it felt like fire under your skin. You tore down illusions. You broke destructive cycles. You questioned your patterns. You chose truth over comfort. And because of that, your pain didn't destroy you. It transformed you. Maybe a question crosses your mind. Did it really matter that I healed? Look at you now. Look at your peace. Look at your clarity. Look at your strength. Yes, it mattered. It mattered more than you realize, because healing didn't just change you, it freed you from them. Imagine this. Two people standing before a locked door. Behind it is freedom, peace, purpose. You reached for the key, trembling but determined. You unlocked it. You stepped through. They, on the other hand, stared at the door, convinced the lock was impossible to break. They refused to try. They were scared of what healing would reveal. So they stayed frozen on the other side, trapped in a loop of their own avoidance. Or picture two climbers. One climbs the mountain despite shaking hands and bruised knees. The other sits at the bottom, complaining that the mountain is too high. When you reached the top, they blamed the mountain instead of themselves. That's their life story. Excuses instead of growth. Their shadow work became their downfall because they never did it. Your shadow work became your breakthrough because you refused to stay blind. Now the universe honors you with a peace they'll never taste. That peace isn't random, it's earned. It's sacred. It's the reward for every night you battled thoughts that tried to break you. It's what happens when someone chooses healing over hiding. They stayed stuck. You evolved. They stayed lost. You found yourself. They stayed broken. You built wings out of the same pieces that shattered you. Their refusal became their curse. Your courage became your freedom. And now the universe draws a line they will never cross again. They remain chained to the demons they avoided. You rise on the wings you crafted from your own pain. That's the difference. That's the split. That's the breakthrough they will never catch up to. Number 12. Your presence was their gold. Your absence is their punishment. They thought losing you meant losing a person. It meant losing every blessing stitched into your energy. Your presence was a privilege. Your absence is the price. Look at them now, dragging themselves through nights that feel endless and mornings that feel suffocating. Every hour feels heavier because the silence you left behind hits harder than any argument. They try to fill the void with noise, people, distractions, but everything they touch turns hollow. Every replacement feels like cardboard compared to the depth you brought. They chase attention like it's oxygen, but nothing revives them. Nothing hits the way you did. Nothing feels like home ever again. They smashed the only light in their life, believing another would magically appear. They thought you were common, repeatable, easy to replace. But darkness has a cruel way of teaching truth. And the truth is simple. You were the one, the anchor, the warmth, the steady heartbeat in their chaos. Your presence was the rarest gift the universe ever handed them, and they treated it like scrap. Maybe you wonder, do they really feel cursed without me? Chosen one, they feel it every second. They feel it in the empty bed. They feel it in the quiet room. They feel it in every moment they reach for a version of you that isn't there. The universe made sure your absence echoed inside them like a permanent reminder. Every time you rise, they sink. Every blessing you touch slices through their memory. Every smile you wear burns in their chest. Every victory you achieve reminds them of the day they threw away the very person who could have changed their entire life. Your absence exposed their weakness. Your glow revealed their emptiness. Your growth sealed their fate. So rise without apology. Rise without hesitation. Rise because the universe has crowned you and cursed them in one single move. And now you see the whole picture for what it really is. Your absence wasn't an accident. It was the turning point, their downfall, your rise. Everything they hid is exposed, everything you buried is blooming, and the universe made sure the balance returned in your favor. So walk forward with zero hesitation and claim the life waiting for you. If this message hit your soul, press like, subscribe, drop 77 in the comments, and share this everywhere so more chosen ones wake up to their power. Your era starts now.